All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. Today's the fourth webinar already in the Golden Health and Golden Years series. So it's great to have you all back. And as Dr. Apte said, I'm Medhavi Balachandran. And so last week, Dr. Apte talked about creating a daily routine, and she will do a recap as she usually does. And today, she's going to expand on creating a seasonal routine. And so at the end of the webinar, as a lot of you have asked about, she will talk about how you can get the ebook that she has also created. And since today is Super Bowl Sunday, for those of you that are football fans, we'll plan on finishing up just a few minutes before 5:30 p.m. Central Time, just so that you can watch the kickoff. I've put everybody's phones on mute. And as you are all experts at now, if you have any questions, just send them through the chat function and we'll get to them at the end of the session. So I guess with that, let's begin today's session. Dr. Apte?
Thank you, Medhavi. Okay, so as always, let us begin with the prayer. Everybody close your eyes and take a deep, long breath. With each inhalation, balloon the belly. And each exhalation, pull the belly in. And continue breathing. And observe your breath. Now observe your mind. And as your mind is holding on to the breath, it slows down, becomes more calm and clear, and becomes peaceful. And now I'll chant a prayer. Asato ma satgamaya tamso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So God, lead us from unreality to reality. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from mortality to immortality. May there be peace, peace, and peace in the universe. And keeping this peace within, gently open your eyes. And namaste, everybody. So as Medhavi mentioned, so let me just kind of the recap about what we talked about last time. And we all know that routine is very important. When we have a structure for our daily routine, then we get so many things done. And again, we can free some time. So that structure is very important. And then it also has an emotional effect that mind becomes more calm and you start enjoying everything that you are doing. So doing the right thing is good. But Ayurveda goes one step further, and Ayurveda says that doing the right thing at the right time is more critical. And then I explained to you about how Ayurveda has revealed the Mother Nature secrets about the daily routine, what time is Kapha dosha is predominant in the morning hours after sunrise. Then after 4 hours is the Pitta time. Then in the late afternoon, 4 hours is the Vata related time, Vata predominant time. And then same cycle repeats again in the evening after sunset for 4 hours is the kapha time. Then from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is pitta time predominant, and 2 a.m. to 6 p.m. 6 a.m. is the vata predominant time. And how we use that knowledge about this predominance of doshas, because kapha dosha is the strength and stability. So if we get many things done in the morning hours, you can finish most of your day's work within those 5 6 hours in the morning. You want to eat lunch. If you eat lunch around noon when the pitta is at the peak, then your pitta is going to digest food better. In the afternoon, if you do some running around or run some errands or do some activities, your vata dosha is going to help you for that. Then in the evening, kapha dosha is again more relaxation, eating your dinner around 7, 7:30. And at night time, bedtime is very important that at 10, 10:30 p.m. you go to bed, because at night pitta builds new cells, does all the wear and tear in the body, takes care of all the wear and tear, whatever tissue need to be healed, body does all that healing at night. And for that, we have to be asleep. In the early in the morning, our mind is very active. So if you really want to get much productive work done or anything, then wake up early in the morning and make a best use of that vata related time and all this. So if you follow the daily routine timing, then you are swimming with the current. And if you are not following that, suppose you go to bed instead of 10, you go to bed at midnight, 1 o'clock. You wake up instead of 6, 7, you wake up at 8, 9, 10 a.m. If you eat your lunch around 2 or 3 p.m., then you are swimming against the current. Yes, we are free to do anything 24 hours a day. But if you follow this nature cycle, nature is pushing you, nature's current is pushing you in the right direction. Otherwise, it's like you're swimming against the current, which is not very productive. So those things, simple. Ayurveda says only do few things. Wake up in the morning at 6, go to bed at 10, eat only 3 meals, zip your lips in between, exercise for 1 hour, and meditate for at least 15, 20 minutes and all that. And that routine will help you to have the productive day. And in that routine, I also focused mainly on two things. Main thing is being mindful. And what is being mindful? That bringing your mind where whatever body is doing. So being in the present, because the real fact is the body is doing something, mind is wandering somewhere else, either in the past or in the future, but it's never in the present. So instead of both of them being associated, they are most of the time dissociated. So we are not there and we are not here. So many times we do things absent-mindedly. So I have one plaque in my office. It says, of all the things I have lost, I miss my mind the most. So we do many things absent-mindedly. And that's why it creates a lot of stress and anxiety and all this. So if we learn to be mindful, then that mind gives us the meaning to our life. And that's why it is very important to be mindful. And second thing, I told you simple things about oiling different parts of the body. Doing abhyanga, the whole abhyanga, or putting few drops in your both ears, putting few drops of ghee in your eyes, putting oil or ghee in your nose. If you don't have time for abhyanga, at least massage your soles of the feet, palms, and your head. Those are kind of the three extremes of the body. If you massage, that will also help. And why is it? Because think about this, we change oil in our car every few months. So car can run freely, smoothly. If we do the maintenance and change the oil, then that car can run longer. But again, you can change your car every 4 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever. But this bodily car, we get only once in a lifetime. And we have become really antique. Remember, we are all in the golden years. So definitely we are past 50, age 50 and all. So as we get older, if you want to keep on running this body healthily, then you have to oil it. And it's a simple, literally simple thing. But Ayurveda says if you oil your body, then it keeps you the getting aged or getting old away. So you stay younger longer. And those are kind of simple things. So follow those daily routine. They are very meaningful. And as I was talking to few women before the seminar, I said, my job is to tell you what is Ayurveda and what are these simple tips. But your job is to follow those tips. Then only you are going to see the results of that. Okay. So today we have another interesting topic, and that is Rutucharya. And let me share my presentation with you. Okay. So the title of the presentation is Taste the Season. That is kind of different seasons. And first thing is, why do we get different seasons? Because the earth is orbiting around the sun. So part of the sun, which is kind of in front of the sun, we get summer season. When it is away from the sun, we get winter season. And again, the earth is kind of tilted 23 degrees to its axis. And that's what we have, all these different seasons. And the beauty about different seasons, look here. Like if you look at the trees, what happens right now in the northern state, it's snowing a lot and all the leaves are gone. You see a lot of like snow needles and all on those trees. But within a month or two, you will start seeing the same trees start blooming and they will start flowering and all. Within a week or so, you will start seeing like hundreds and thousands of tiny leaves dancing with the wind on those trees. And during full summertime, those trees have more leaves and they're green in color. Then after a few months, we go to the fall season and we see the spectacular change of color during fall time. So all these green leaves also have this red in that, but depending on the temperature and all, we start seeing these colors. And again, in the full summer, hey, fall, what happens? All the leaves fall and the tree becomes barren again. So these are kind of the seasonal changes happening, but every season exhibits different beauty. And to enjoy different beauty along with the season, we have to create the balance with each season. And then only we can enjoy it. For example, I like the daily routine. I also, in the past, I told you that late winter and spring, Ayurvedically, is the kapha season. And why? Because what happens, it rains a lot or it snows a lot in some states. So there is more water element. Kapha dosha is more water element. So during late winter and spring, kapha dosha is predominant. We start seeing the new growth and the new blooms and all that. To those dead trees, all of a sudden we start seeing small buds and then they start flowering and then we see like millions of leaves in it. Then during summertime, what happens? We get a lot of fruits and fruits ripen, and because of the heat, fruits become very sweet. First, they are very tiny and sour. Because of the summer, they become very sweet. And then the season changes, so that is summertime, pitta season. And then in the fall and early winter, it is vata season. Vata is again the wind energy, and all the leaves start falling. And again, we start getting this year around, we have different seasons. So what is the benefit of knowing that late winter and spring is the kapha season or summer is pitta and all that? So that helps us a lot. So here I just wanted to again recap about Ayurveda is very high on gunas, the qualities. And all our life, we work with our gunas. Like I am talking about Ayurveda because I have a degree in Ayurvedic medicine. Somebody may be in IT because they have a qualification, they have qualities to work in that field. Somebody may be in finance because they have qualities to work there. So our life is every time is nothing but the qualities. And these doshas also get the qualities because of Pancha Mahabhutas. We call the 5 basic elements. Everything in this nature is made up of the same 5 basic elements. It could be plants, it could be mountains, it could be animals, it could be humans, and all that. So earth and water is mainly the kapha dosha, and because these elements are heavy, kapha dosha is heavy and cold and moist. And in the body, this fire circulates in the body, in the water, in the enzyme or hormone forms. So, but main element is fire, and that's why it is very hot. And air element is mainly the air and space make vata dosha. And because air element, it is very light and dry. So these, what we have to do is to maintain these good qualities. But when they aggravate, then we start seeing the symptoms. So our symptoms are nothing but the same qualities, but which are increased or decreased in compared to the balanced state. So you will see a normal kapha is lubricating your body, in the strength, giving strength, stability. But when that water becomes excess, when everything starts flooding, we may have a problem. Same way, Pitta dosha is digesting all the food, maintaining our body temperature and all that. But when the heat becomes excess, this house is burning. So excess Pitta will burn our body. May get bleeding conditions. We may get excessive heat in the body. Few people complain that my body is on fire and all that. So those kind of things happen when Pitta dosha aggravates. And when Vata dosha aggravates, body becomes very, very dry and light and cold and circulation problems and all that. So Ayurveda is very high on these qualities. So we always focus more on those. And then there is one more saying that we can't direct the wind, but we can adjust the sails. And what does it mean? So nature is constantly changing. One unchanging reality about our life is a change. And that's what Ayurveda says, you have to change with the season. That means we have to adjust the sail. That means we have to adjust our diet and lifestyle to create the balance with the changing season, and that with the opposing qualities. So if the kapha is cold, then start eating warm foods. If the pitta is hot, start eating cooling, bland foods and those kind of things. That helps us exactly the opposite quality. That is a key. And as I always say, every time you don't need a medicine, anything that will work like a medicine, which may be at your house, in your kitchen and all that, you can use it, but you have to use exactly the opposite quality to that. So during springtime, if you balance your kapha dosha in the body, then definitely you can enjoy all these spring blossoms. But majority of the time, people always call this season, instead of spring, they call it allergy season. And they have pollen, so they cannot leave the house. They have so much congestion and so many problems, so they don't enjoy this. During summertime, if you balance your pitta, you can do outdoor activities, but here people are swimming and all that. So again, you are doing the balancing act, so you can enjoy during summertime too. When comes the fall and early winter, that is the vata time. So you can see the vata is very cold and light. So look at this girl. She is wearing a heavy sweater and heavy scarf and all that. And then she is enjoying the beauty in the fall around her. So that's how Ayurveda helps you, whatever season it could be. But if you create the balance with the season, then you can prevent most of the diseases. And that's what our goal is, because we always say that an ounce of prevention is worth the pound of cure. But where can we find that ounce? And that ounce of prevention is in this diet and lifestyle, daily routine and seasonal routine and all that. Very important. If we don't do it, if we don't balance our doshas, and if your kapha dosha aggravates a lot, then you are going to get sneezing and sniffling and bronchitis and asthma and congestion and all the lung issues, water retention, swelling in the body, joint pain and all that. If you don't balance your pitta dosha during summertime, then look at this pretty lady. She has all these blisters and acne and on her face. So there could be so many skin diseases, so many other diseases related to pitta dosha. When we go to Vata season, so this is kind of the pain, arthritis, anxiety, depression, constipation, gas, circulation problems. So many things happen during this season if you don't change the life. And do you know what we do? We only change the clothes from summer, from spring to summer. We go shopping and we get all the cotton clothes, shorts and t-shirts and all that. Then again, when it comes to fall, then again we go shopping, we buy jackets and warm clothes and sweaters and all that. But we don't change the food. And that is more important, that what goes inside shows outside. So only changing the clothes is not enough, but you have to change your diet and lifestyle. And once you do that, take a hint from your clothes. If you're wearing cool clothes, eat cooling foods. When you're wearing warm clothes, start eating warm food, drinking warm liquids and all that. But we don't do that. We only just do everything outside, but not inside. So here I just wanted to point out one thing. Like for example, suppose this person is mainly, we call this kapha predominant, because compared to pitta and vata, his kapha is very high. And all these three friends, suppose kapha, pitta, vata, eat kapha aggravating foods, maybe cold water, yogurt, sweet foods and all that. But for this pitta person to begin with, he is eating the same quantity as this person. But to begin with, his pitta is not, kapha is not that high. So this is a line when you start seeing the symptoms. So naturally, kapha person, when he eats more kapha related foods, he is going to suffer more from allergies and congestion and all that. So why knowing your prakriti is important? Because generally you go out of balance in your predominant doshas. So you have to know exactly what is your dosha and then do the changing of diet lifestyle accordingly. So somebody had asked me the question, Dr. Apte, if we had dual dosha, what should we do? Then suppose your prakriti is kapha pitta, then during springtime you follow your kapha routine, and during summertime you follow your pitta routine. So that is the dual. If your prakriti is pitta kapha predominant, then you summertime follow pitta related tips, and in fall follow vata related tips and all that. And if you are all tridoshi, almost all the three doshas are equal, then just go. If it is springtime, balance kapha. If it is summertime, balance pitta. And if it is fall time, balance vata dosha and all that. I just wanted to give you idea how we try to balance these doshas. Okay, now what is the Ritucharya? We talked about Dinacharya doing the right thing, and what is Ritucharya going to add it? So it is going to fine tune your Dinacharya. You are going to do exactly the same thing, but the specific foods, specific lifestyles, the Ritucharya explains to you. So Ritucharya is the seasonal routine. It is the fine tuning of your Dinacharya. And for example, Dinacharya tells you when to eat, like eat light breakfast, eat good lunch, and light dinner. But Ritucharya explains to you what foods are good for you to eat during each season. Then Dinacharya is going to explain you do pranayam in the morning and at bedtime, or again in the afternoon too. But which pranayam do you do, which is ideal during each season, Ritucharya is going to explain. And for example, many of you may be doing pranayam. So Kapal Bhati and Bhasrika, they are very vigorous, very powerful pranayam, and they increase a lot of heat in the body. Then you do it during springtime. If you want to cool your body down, you do Anulom Vilom and you do Shitali, you do Shitkari Pranayam. So that will help in Pitta time. If it is Vata time, then Anulom Vilom and Brahmari Pranayam will benefit you. So that is kind of according to the season. So that's how Ritucharya seasonal routine is going to exactly pinpoint what what will be beneficial during that particular season. So Dinacharya again is going to explain you when to exercise, but Ritucharya will tell you what exercise you could do. And I showed you the picture earlier, those people who were swimming. So swimming is a good exercise during summertime. If you are walking, then go to for the walk early morning or in the evening. Don't walk when the temperature is very high, like in the afternoon at 2 or 4 p.m. and all that, because your pitta will aggravate during that time. So that's how Ritucharya helps a lot. Then Dinacharya also tells us wear comfortable clothes, but which color will you use during particular season? Ritucharya will tell you. So you can see how Ayurveda helps us to literally go deeper into these simple things so we can benefit from it. So when you integrate both Dinacharya and Ritucharya, and then you can achieve the dynamic balance, and that helps you perfectly. Then your second question will be, what could be Ritucharya during springtime and the late winter time? So that I told you is the Kapha season. So Kapha season, because it's the water and earth element, it's heavy, cold and moist. So now you know that exactly opposite. And literally even second, third grader will also tell you opposite to heavy is light, opposite cold is warm, opposite to moist is dry. But we don't apply that knowledge in our day-to-day life. That causes the problem. So we are focusing more on light, warm and drying foods. So the first thing in spring, we always tell people to spice up their life. And what does it mean? That increase the spices. You can drink ginger tea, you can add a little bit of ginger in your cooking, you can chew one clove, or you can drink like clove, black pepper, ginger, turmeric tea in the morning to reduce congestion and all. After your meal, you can have pinch of ajwan seeds. So that is spicing your life. And why? Because spices have pungent taste, they are heating, which is opposite to this coldness. They are also light in nature, so they are opposite to heaviness. So they create warmth and lightness in the body. That's why they are very beneficial. Again, you will see when does all this turmeric and ginger and all start growing. All those bulbs always grow in during springtime. So they are ideal to eat that time. Then when it comes to liquids, drink warm water or herbal teas. And I have sent all of you the handouts about these different teas, ginger tea, cinnamon and clove tea and all that. So start drinking those. And now the spring season is coming. I know millions of people will have allergies, but at least you are attending my seminar. So I want you to prevent all these spring allergies if you suffer from it by following all these tips, and cut down or limit on the sweet, sour and salty foods, because these three tests aggravate kapha dosha. Among these three, sweet is the worst, because sweet is the earth and water element, exactly like kapha. It increases the congestion and phlegm and mucus. And add pungent, bitter, astringent, because these tastes are light in nature, and pungent is also very warming. So that's why those tastes are good. Then we want to increase heat in the body, warmth in the body. So be active and do the brisk walking, do hiking, play any sport. If you're playing tennis, or if you have grandchildren, play with them in the backyard. They will wear you out. But those kind of some using like a physical exercise, vigorous exercise, brisk exercise is very important. All this line dancing and all is available in many of these senior centers. They have so many classes in senior center. I love to go there and meet different people and have these activities and all that. Very beneficial. Then pranayam I mentioned to you is Kapalabhati and Bhasrika pranayam, because it's very vigorous exercise. It creates heat. It clears your lungs completely. And if you have any lung problem and upper respiratory problem, that will go away even just doing pranayam. See, it is expensive. It's free. Only you have to do it. Then many of you also may be good in yoga. So sun salutations and all again increase heat in the body. So you can do some of these yoga poses and wear light warm colored clothes. But you will see here, Kapha dosha is heavy, but it's, so we have to have the lightness. So yellow, orange, gold absorb heat, but they don't absorb like a red color or black color or dark green color and all that. So these kind of the milder colors absorb heat enough to keep your body warm during springtime. You will also notice that our spring jacket is warm, but it is light. Our winter jacket is warm, but it is very heavy because we are constantly trying to balance these qualities. So again, during springtime, wear these clothes, yellow, orange, gold, they absorb a lot of heat. If you wear white, it repels heat. So that is not good idea. You need to feel a little bit warm. So apply that, use those kind of colors during that time. And massage body with warm sesame oil. In the northern states, or especially here in the US where it snows a lot, and if you want to use mustard oil, you can do that. But mustard oil is tremendously heating. So if you are in the part of the country where there is the temperature is very cold, you can use mustard oil. But in the general temperate climate, you can use sesame oil. And Ayurveda even says to massage with the powder, like you can mix ginger powder and sesame oil a little and massage your whole body, and you will be amazed because ginger is pungent and hot, so it creates the lightness in the body and it warms the body. Same thing is the horse gram, and this is available in Indian grocery store. In Marathi we call it kulit. That kulit powder mixed with sesame oil, you can massage with that. It also creates lightness in the body. So in springtime, massaging with the oil, but if you use these powders, then that will be even better. Then during summer season is the pitta season. So the qualities are very hot and sharp. So opposite to that is cool, bland, and dense food we should eat. So start the meal with a small salad. We want to cool our body down. Here, eat less spicy food. In springtime, I told you, spice up your life. Add more spices. During summertime, I am saying eat less spicy food because summer is already hot. You do not want too much heat because of the spices. And salad, most of the leafy greens are very cooling in nature. So if you eat small salad, it will also curb your appetite a little and it will cool your body down. Then enjoy the sweet, pulpy fruits, occasional ice cream. Ayurveda is very forgiving. It will tell you, you can eat ice cream, you can eat so many things, but at the right time, at the right season. And why sweet, pulpy fruits? Because most of the sweet, pulpy fruits are cooling in nature and pitta is very hot. Again, you will see when do we get watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew melon, peaches and pears and all those pulpy fruits during summertime. Because Mother Nature wants us to create this balance and enjoy every season. But what do? We eat the same melons and all the sweet those cooling fruits during winter time, during Christmas party. That causes the problem. For everything there is a right time. So eating all these sweet cooling fruits, pulpy fruits, you should be eating during summertime, not Christmas time. Melons are bad, but unfortunately here in US, the produce comes from around the world and there are different seasons in the different parts of the world. But here we want to have the control on everything. Whenever we feel like we want to eat that fruit and vegetable, but that is not very healthy habit because the seasons are different and we have to eat during certain season. Then drink cool water. You can add a drop of khas. In English, it is called vetiver. In Marathi, we call vada. So it's like put a bunch of vetiver in your drinking water and it gives a beautiful cooling aroma and a fragrance to that water. Even few glasses of water will quench your thirst. You can add one flower of jasmine in your water at that mogra. In the southern states, it is called mallige or something, but very fragrant. And when do we get jasmines? It's beautiful to observe the nature because all jasmines are white in nature, and we get all these flowers during summertime. And why during summer? Because it repels heat. So that's what nature is telling you. Use certain colors, and all the white flowers and all have very cooling fragrance. So you can smell those. You can have those in your backyard. You can even put one mogra flower in your drinking water. That will give you a nice aroma and it will quench your thirst. There is also another fruit called kokum, and many parts in India we use this kokum. One good thing about kokum, it is sour in taste, but it is pitta balancing. And in many Indian grocery stores, you get the concentrate, kokum concentrate. So you can add 1 tablespoon of that in a glass of water and add a pinch of salt, little sugar, and pinch of cumin seed powder. It makes a very, very appetizing drink. You can drink coconut water. You can drink CCFT, and CCF means cumin, coriander, and fennel. I also have emailed you the recipe of this CCFT. Another beautiful good thing about CCF is it anti-inflammatory. So most of the diseases are called that they are because of the increased inflammation in the body. So this cumin, coriander, fennel have a property to reduce inflammation in the body. So that way that also helps to drink during summertime and to reduce inflammation. Then mainly limit sour, salty, and pungent taste because sour, salty, and pungent have fire element in that. You need it a little, but you need to limit it. Don't go overboard. And here you will see most of the junk foods are loaded with salt. Then it makes your pitta go high. Many fruits also sour. Most of the fruits are supposed to be sweet, but fruits are very sour, like strawberries and many fruit. They are very sour. We end up eating those. Then that aggravates pitta dosha. So we have to cut down. I mentioned about sweet pulpy fruits, not sour fruits. And focus more on sweet, bitter, and astringent taste because they are cooling. Here is one good news for pitta predominant people. They always say that I have a sweet tooth and I want to have just a little, some kind of sweet, maybe one candy or one date or one piece of barfi or one laddu or something. So that one piece of sweet will not bother you so much because sweet taste balances pitta dosha. That's why they have this sweet tooth. But don't go overboard. Don't indulge in that. You can have a small piece of sweet every day, one piece. Bitter also is good. That's why we eat all the salads I mentioned to you. So have a small bowl of salad and all that. That helps a lot. And cooling activities because the weather is so hot. So swimming is good. Morning jog or moonlight walk in the evening is good. This grass walk is another wonderful thing because in our subtle body, our eyes and our feet are connected. So if you walk on the grass bare feet, that will cool down your eyes because eyes is the seat of fire element. So walking on the cool grass will reduce the tension in your eyes. If you have sensitive eyes, if your eyes become red and all, make a practice of walking bare feet on the grass in the morning or evening. That will also help. Then the game like a golf because it is non-competitive. Pitta people are very competitive. They always have to win. They always have to be on the top. But when they play golf, they are competing against themselves. It's not very competitive. So those kind of activities are good during summertime. Then pranayam, anulom vilom, and shitali, shitkari, or brahmari pranayam is good. Again, you can do some yoga poses. And here during springtime, I mentioned yellow, gold color clothes. Now here summertime, we talk about white because it repels heat. Light blue, that is also very cooling in nature. Light green or purple. Anything that has less frequency, those are color of cooling, and red and all have a lot of heat, so they absorb it. You can see here in this rainbow picture. Red is one side and the violet is on the other side. So all this violet or light blue or green color cool your body down. So we recommend it during summertime for Pitta. On the right side, it's red and orange and dark colors are for Vata. And in the middle, yellow and all are good for Kapha dosha and all. And massage your body with coconut oil because coconut oil is cooling. So now you must have gotten the idea how Ayurveda recommends you to change according to the season to balance these qualities. Then comes the fall season, early winter, that is the Vata season Ayurvedically. And Vata is a wind. So wind dries everything and it is very cold and light. So we experience our skin becomes so dry and wrinkly. We feel very cold. We have circulation problem. We have a lot of pain, arthritis. Our hair start falling and all because of this. So change your food to moist, warm and dense. An example of that is lots of soups. During summertime, I mentioned have more a bowl of salad. Here I am mentioning indulge in soups, warm, moist, and nourishing. Soups, stews, steamed and sauteed root veggies or grains, or if you're eating chicken or fish or turkey, then that meat also has to be little bit, it has to have some gravy or some liquid to that. It should be moist. Nuts are also good because nuts have a lot of oil in it. So in winter, we always eat more nuts. Then warm water, herbal teas, here licorice tea or chamomile tea or vata tea, all the calming herbs like Brahmi, Shankapushpi and all. You can add it in glass of warm water and you can make that as a herbal tea. There is no actually tea in all these herbal teas, only the herbs and the warm water. Now limit pungent, bitter, astringent because they are very drying and very light qualities. And here you eat all the sweets and a little bit of sour and salty. And you will see our Diwali comes during November in the fall season. And we eat all the sweets and all that. We eat more fried food because it is Vata season. Oil is good for that. Then during Christmas time, Thanksgiving time, also we eat more of these sweet foods and all. Even see, you will, Mother Nature produces all the root vegetables or the pumpkins and the squashes and all heavy vegetables during fall time. Anything growing near the ground or in the ground is very balancing to Vata dosha because it is heavy. Vata is very light and light in weight. So we need dense and heavy foods during that season. Here, instead of doing a lot of running around and all, you can do Tai Chi, Qigong, meditation, pranayam, and all these exercises. You can do some of these yoga poses. I don't want to waste so much time on that. And then wear warm and heavy clothes and dark orange, red color, black color because they absorb heat. If you wear white, you will immediately see you feel little cold. So changing this color has tremendous benefit. So you can wear heavy clothes, but also pick the colors during each season and they will help you to maintain the balance. And here you massage with the warm sesame oil. I also mentioned in the northern states, if you are there, it's snowing a lot and all. You can massage with mustard oil, it is heating. And listening to the calming music also helps to balance Vata dosha because Vata is more related to mind and our mind starts racing in that way, the environment. So anything calming activity helps tremendously to balance this Vata dosha. So you can see how we have to not only change the clothes, but how we have to change the food and our daily routine or our lifestyle to create the balance. That's why it is very important. Then what is this? Rutu Sandhi. The word Sandhi means a joint. And it is a joint between two seasons. So you can imagine how deep Ayurveda goes. It's like Mother Nature holding our hand and taking us through different seasons, creating the balance. So Rutu Sandhi. So here I told you to change according to the season, but that change should not be abrupt. That one day you are eating for kapha and from next you are eating pitta. No, the seasons also change slowly and gently. And Ayurveda says you also have to make that change, but gentle change in diet and lifestyle from previous season to the coming season. So Ayurveda recommend these 2 weeks, roughly 2-3 weeks period between two seasons when you slowly start changing your diet and lifestyle, which will be balancing to the coming season. So from summer to fall, you have to change from pitta to vata. So from fall and early winter to late winter and spring, you have to change from vata to kapha and all this. So what happens during spring to summer? Ayurveda says first, it change your lunch food first and then change breakfast and dinner, because during what happens summertime, that afternoon is more warm. So change the cooling food during lunchtime first, because in the morning it's still little cold. So make this change during summertime, hey, during lunchtime, and then slowly change. So when you are full-fledged in summertime, your body is all ready for that season. Then from summer to fall, it changes from change more breakfast and dinner foods first, and then lunchtime. Because during this time, the weather becomes getting colder. So change during that time, and then change the during lunchtime. And then from early winter to late winter, start adding some spices in the food. So in winter, we told you to eat heavy foods, sweet foods, and all that. Now you want to prepare your body for coming kapha season. So you start slowly adding spices in your food. So when you are into kapha stage, kapha will go up, but you can maintain the balance at all these seasons if you follow this. So this Rutu Sandhi and all is really going deeper and deeper into things to help us how we can change and why we should change and all this. Tremendously beneficial. Okay, here I just wanted to give you one example how Ayurveda looks at some symptoms and conventional medicine. See, symptoms, I respect both the sciences. I respect all the healing sciences, but I just wanted to compare this. So suppose allergic rhinitis. You have runny nose, watery eyes, and stuffy nose, and congestive headache, and all that. So if you go to the doctor, generally what they do, they take your blood, they do the blood test, they do skin test for allergies and all that. And the recommendation is avoid non-allergic foods, eat healthy, but just saying eat healthy doesn't tell you much. Get exercise and keep house clean. So sometimes if there is a lot of things in the house that may cause you the allergic reactions and all, then the treatment is antihistamine, decongestant, antibiotics, steroids and all that. But here in Ayurveda, because the focus is more on diet and lifestyle. So Ayurveda says during this time, avoid cold, heavy, cheesy foods, because we know that is kapha season. Avoid or limit your sweet, salty and sour foods. Add more spices to your food. Keep one clove in your mouth as a mouth freshener. If you suffer, anybody suffer from this kapha related problem, I will strongly recommend make this a habit of keeping one clove in your mouth and just suck the juices. Don't chew and swallow it. Keep it in your mouth for 3-4 hours and you will see one clove will take care of most of your congestion related problems. Then avoid ice cold water and drinks, because that ice is going to increase your kapha and your congestion. Then gargle with, you can drink ginger cinnamon tea. You can gargle with salt water and turmeric, salt water and turmeric. Then put nasya drops in both nostrils, because that oil is treated with kapha balancing herbs in that nasya oil. Inhale ginger powder like a snuff. Again, this is very inexpensive practice. Keep a ginger powder in small Ziploc bag and carry it with your purse or your pocket. And just when you feel on and off, just smell. Open that Ziploc bag and just inhale through it. Few ginger particles will get in your nose and that will reduce all the congestion and stuffiness in the nose. Then use heating pad on the chest to liquefy the mucus so you can just get it out of your system. Then use this neti pot, do Kapalabhati, Bhastrika Pranayam. So you can see how many in details Ayurveda gives you tips, and these you don't have to spend a single penny for this. It is very free, but you just have to make the adjustment accordingly. And what is the treatment? Mainly ginger, black pepper, cloves, pipali, turmeric, tulsi. You can make a tea with this. You can add some of these spices in the food and your congestion will be less. So how you can see that every time you don't need so many medicines. And if you follow these tips first, then you don't have to take all these medicines. And even if you are on these kind of medicines, still you follow these steps, so you will see your body will heal faster, or you will see long lasting cure with this. Because here what you are doing, you are treating the cause. And what is the cause? Is the excessive kapha dosha. So when you balance that with all these foods and lifestyle, then definitely you will see the result, the positive result in your symptoms. So that's how we were talking about most of these things. So what things you have to remember is stay tuned with Mother Nature. Mother Nature is just kind of helping you to go through the change according to the season and enjoy every season, prevent most of the diseases and all. So fine tune your dinacharya with Ritucharya. Ritucharya, dinacharya, both when you do it together, that helps you tremendously. It is a perfect prescription for preventing seasonally affected diseases. And we all watch TV, right? And most of the time, instead of the show, there are more commercials these days, and more commercials about lot of medicines. And you will see all these pharmaceutical companies spend millions and billions of dollars advertising each medicine during that particular season. Now we are in the beginning of February, so you will see all these decongestant and antihistamines and anti-allergy medications run, the advertisements running on the TV. They know that these seasons have these kind of symptoms, and Ayurveda is telling you that. But if you prevent it with diet and lifestyle, then you don't have to take all the medications. That's the beauty of following this daily routine and seasonal routine and all, so you can prevent most of the diseases. And another benefit that you will enjoy every season. You don't have to sit at home with your inhalers and all those things, but you will enjoy every season, because that's what our goal is, to enjoy our life, enjoy every season, enjoy every moment. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share with you, and this you can write down my phone number and my email address and email website. So if you want to get in connect, hey, you want to connect with me, then this information will help you. And if you have any particular disease, then I would like to do a consultation with you, because unless I have detailed information, I cannot just give you answer on these questions, simple questions. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so before Medhavi, we start the questions and answers, I want to tell all our attendees about my ebook. So many of you asked me about that, you wanted the presentations and all, and I sent you the second and third presentation and all. And I also have created an ebook, and that ebook has all the information what we are discussing during these 5 Sundays. So that e-booklet will be your reference guide in the future. And that I would strongly recommend get that. Only what I'm kind of urging you that one of my friend in India has started this organization called Mata Balak, because she is part of the India where the Solapur district, which is very drought prone district, and there is tremendous poverty, and all these mothers and children, and they don't have any resources. And when she saw that, she said just helping them health wise or disease wise is not going to help. We need to do something to better the lives of those very poor and suffering women and their children. So she started this organization called matabalak.org. And I will send you her website and all this again. You can take a look at that. And she is my friend, so I just want to support her. So I'm urging you to just kind of donate $10 minimum, and anything more than $10 you wish. And you can call me or email me, and I will get your credit card information, or you can send me by PayPal. You can send $10 or more, and I will send you that ebook. And that ebook will be with you for your future references. And remember, as I said, this is my social service. I donate each and every dollar I collect from this ebook to that or my friend's organization. And there is another person, his organization is Build Schools in India. So he matches whatever amount, whatever donations we collect, he matches that amount. So finally, that organization is getting more money to help these needy and poor children. And you can imagine these young children are sitting in their farm or under the tree and studying with one gadget. 2 or 3 children are using one iPad or iPhone or something because of the COVID. They cannot even go to school and they don't have all those resources. So I just want to help my friend as much as I can with your help. So that was my goal. And I will email you the details about her organization. I want you to go there, read all the information. And if you feel like, you can get that book. Okay. Now, Medhavi, we have few minutes so we can answer the questions.
Yep. Yeah, there are several questions regarding using ghee versus oil and how should it be taken? Do you take it every day? And I know on the last session you suggested, putting ghee in your eyes.
Yes.
So can you answer those questions?
Sure. So ghee is already cooked. So I won't recommend you to cook in ghee, but top your rice. Like in India, we always eat rice and dal and 1 teaspoon ghee on it. So that is the right proportion of carb, protein, and fat in your diet. So in a whole day, eat 2 teaspoons of ghee. I'm not telling you tablespoons or a half a bowl or anything. Only 2 to 3 teaspoons of ghee max, and use cooking oil to cook your food in it. But if you are vata, if your body is very dry, then in your oatmeal in the morning, you can add 1 teaspoon of sesame oil in it. So that will also benefit. It is everything that depends how your body is, what dosha predominant you are. But cooking with the oil and topping your food with ghee is always a good idea. And in your eye, you can take ghee on your index finger and literally like a kajal, put it underneath inside your lower eyelid gently and gently rub your eye. Both the eyes, do it in both eyes and do it at bedtime. Because putting ghee, you may feel that your vision is blurred, but when you keep it overnight and when you do it at bedtime, in the morning your vision becomes completely clear. In my office, I have a special ghee called Triphala ghee, and Triphala ghee is even more beneficial for our vision. But in the beginning, if you don't have any vision problems and all, just try plain ghee you have at home. But make ghee always with the unsalted and organic butter. Make it at home. Making ghee is very, very simple. Okay. So try that first at home. And if you want Triphala ghee, then email me or call me and I will send it.
Great. What do you suggest as a better water replacement? Is it lauki juice or white beta juice?
White beta juice?
Yeah, that was
okay.
I don't
know. Okay, yeah, that is we call vidari or that winter melon. So you can have those, but I prefer people just drink plain water, and you can have 1 glass of that lauki juice or peta, that winter melon juice or something. But otherwise, you just drink plain water or the herbal teas, which I mentioned.
Okay, great. There's a book called Ahar Shastra. Is that the same as the Ayurveda food information?
No. Ayurvedic food will be kind of different. Ahara Shastra, I don't know who has written that book, because many of these books are more focused on conventional concepts also.
Okay. For some that are taking Triphala at night and it causes heartburn or reflux, do you have any suggestions to avoid it?
Maybe cut down on the quantity. You may not need that much quantity, but generally I haven't seen people having acidity because of Triphala. And remember, if you don't have any problem with your bowel movement, If you're just getting up in the morning and going to the toilet, then even you don't have to take Triphala. But if you have some issue, then I'll definitely recommend you to take Triphala at night.
Okay. Can you mix sesame and coconut oil for Abhyanga, or are there other oils that can be mixed for that as well?
You can mix it, but again, depending on, because you're mixing cooling and warming oil together. Instead of that, use warming oil in cold, cooler seasons and use coconut oil during summer season. But mainly always remember, our head is a tremendously heating organ. So on the head, always use coconut oil. Again, in the northern parts, I have seen northern Indian people always also massage head with the mustard oil and all that. I'm from Maharashtra, so I'm not so much used to that. But head generally we recommend to massage with coconut oil, amla oil, which are cooling oils. But rest of the body you can use sesame oil.
Okay, great. Are there any herbs that you recommend to lower blood pressure?
Okay, this is something that you should not be doing at home. Only meditation, pranayam, reducing stress and tension and all that, you can do it, cut down on spices, because generally pitta people have hypertension. But other than that, some of the herbs and all, you have to go to the Ayurvedic doctor.
Okay. For people that get like cramps at night, or like a tingling or burning sensation in their feet, what could be causing that, or do you have any recommendations for that?
Just say that again.
For people that get like cramps in their legs at night, or like a burning sensation or like a tingling sensation in their feet at night, do you have any recommendations for what the reason could be, or what to do about it?
Mainly that is kind of the circulation problem, and you will also notice that you get more cramp during winter time, during fall and winter time. And that's why if you just wear socks, that will also keep your whole body warm and you may not get cramps and you may not have circulation problem. But if you have tingling sensation in the feet and all, try massaging your soles of the feet with coconut oil. And there is one herb, I have it in my office, called Bhumi Amalaki. It is excellent for kind of the burning in the feet or even tingling in the feet and all. Even sometimes diabetic people have this problem. And Bhumi Amalaki herb is really, really beneficial for that.
Okay, great. Do you recommend that people do any type of liver cleansing?
Okay, so instead of just doing liver cleanse, colon cleanse, kidney cleanse and all that, in Ayurveda, we do Panchakarma. And Panchakarma is the whole mind body cleanse. But because of COVID right now, we are not doing it. And there are many centers in India, but I would recommend you go to the center where they have authentic Ayurvedic treatments. It's not only the spa treatment and all that, but that our Ayurvedically, our whole body is a channel system. And when they use different herbs and different oil massages and all that, your whole body gets cleansed, and that is always better.
Okay, great. For making khichdi with moong dal, do you recommend moong dal or quinoa, or is there some better benefit to making with moong dal and basmati rice?
See, quinoa is a new grain. It wasn't available in India in old days. That's what it was, kind of the rice and moong dal. But you can substitute any grain to that. Generally, the proportion is, if you take 1 cup rice, use half cup half cup moong dal and all. So you can take the same proportion of 1 cup quinoa and half cup moong dal. Again, you can use the skinned green moong dal or yellow moong dal. Either is fine. If you need more fiber, always use green.
Great. There are some questions about attending this full seminar again. So I think you said at the beginning of the session that you're going to offer it again in like May.
Yes, I'm going to offer it again in the May, and I will send you the email with the dates and all. And again, if you want to attend it, be my guest. More the better.
Okay. Do you have any recommendations for particular foods to eat or to avoid for maintaining thyroid health?
No, it is again, it's a Prakriti specific issue, so I cannot just tell you to avoid certain foods.
Great. Yeah. Let's see. I think there's some specific questions for like Parkinson's disease and glaucoma and things like that. So I think you may want to address it at your like monthly condition session. Is there any medicine for weight loss in Ayurveda?
Okay, so weight loss, you want to lose weight. That means you want to create your body lighter and heaviness. So what I mentioned, kapha related health, diet and lifestyle always helps to lose weight, and add more spices in it, be more active, cut down on all the sweets, and even cut down on grain a little, and add more vegetables. Again, you have to saute all those foods and make it lighter. When you want to make like pilau, what do you do with the same? You take the same basmati rice, but you saute it in oil or ghee, so it becomes light and fluffy. So that's how Ayurveda always recommends you to eat lighter foods. And I have a special kind of lifestyle and diet for weight loss. So if anybody is interested, give me a call.
Okay, great. Is it okay to drink CCF tea all year round?
You can definitely drink that because that balances all the three doshas. So CCF tea is good for that.
Okay. And then how does a Prakriti change balancing Dinacharya with Ritucharya?
Remember, Prakriti doesn't change, but what you do is you balance doshas during particular season with the diet and lifestyle. Your innate kind of the gunas or your innate talent, overall your Prakriti stayed the same. But doshas, any dosha can increase or decrease. So you have to maintain that balance of doshas, your original dosha. And when we say the balance, that means if you're predominantly pitta, your pitta is always going to be little high. If you're predominantly vata, your vata is always going to be high. So whatever your proportion is, your Prakriti proportion, that you have to maintain, and that will help you to stay in balance.
Okay. Is it okay to do a Kapalbhati pranayama if you, I'm sorry, I mispronounced that one, if you have high blood pressure?
No, Kapalabhati, during Kapalabhati, Anulom Vilom and Brahmari pranayam help a lot. Not Kapalabhati or Bhasrika pranayam.
Okay. Let's see. Does Ayurveda have any recommendations for autoimmune diseases, like thyroid-related antibodies or things like that?
So remember, this autoimmune disease is a conventional concept. And what it does, body creates antibodies to its own antigen. And then that's why people get these autoimmune diseases. But Ayurvedically, most of those diseases are ama diseases, because body doesn't digest food good. It creates more ama, very sticky, mucousy, heavy secretions. And when ama circulates in the body, it clogs many channels and causes the disease. And in many Ayurvedic doctors treat these autoimmune diseases as ama reducing diseases, and that helps a lot.
Okay, great. Does Ayurveda have a philosophy on taking daily multivitamins?
Okay, Ayurveda's philosophy is mainly eating fruits and vegetables and all that to have your vitamins. But if you take one multivitamin every day, it won't hurt you. But don't take so many vitamins, because vitamins also have toxicity. So in anything, don't go overboard.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think there's some requests for the CCFT tea recipe.
I have sent you the handouts of all these teas and Hingashtak Churna and all that.
Okay.
If you didn't get, let me know. I'll resend it to you.
I think there are a few people who haven't received some previous emails, so we can you can go through and send them again. Is ghee energy cold or heating? Is it best to avoid for kapha or body congestion?
Okay, so ghee is cooling in nature. That's why we put it in the ice. But when we eat it, it improves our digestion. So in a way, it is increasing the heat, so to improve digestion. But the basic energy in the ghee is cooling in nature. Ghee is very unique, and ghee is the best food you can have.
There are a couple of questions about improving memory.
Okay, so in the memory, first thing is use it or lose it. So if you don't use your memory, then definitely slowly you are going to lose it. So I don't like everybody's phone numbers and all that. You have to punch those numbers. Don't just go by the memory and all. You want to use it. Otherwise, it's a problem. And you can use this simple herbs like Brahmi, Jatamansi, and Shankhapushpi and all. They help a lot to keeping our memory strong.
Okay. I think there are several questions with kind of dry, itchy skin. So can you just make some recommendations on what people can do to help with that?
So all along, that's what we have been talking about, doing the abhyanga, doing the oil massage, and also adding good oil and ghee in your food. So your body inside will be lubricated and then your skin will not be that dry.
Okay, I think
Somebody,
the last.
I see one question here, and that is important question. What is the treatment for ama? And ama is undigested food. So taking, and we are going to talk about that next Sunday because it is going to be, the topic is kitchen pharmacy. So we can use how all the spices and all for our health and reducing ama and all this. So ama, you have to improve your digestion. And for that, ginger is excellent, or Ayurvedic very old formula called 3-Katu. 3-Katu means combination of 3 pungent. That is ginger, black pepper, and pipali. So combination of that, if you take 1/4 teaspoon with your meal, that will improve your Agni. So you won't have, body will not create ama, but you have to follow all those food guidelines also. If you constantly munch, if you eat every 2 hours and all, and even if your Agni is strong, if you are going to drink ice cold water, your Agni will be weak. Even if you take 3-Katu, your Agni will be weak. So you have to follow those guidelines, and on top of it, use more ginger, pungent spices that will reduce ama in the system. Fasting also is good to digest ama, because when you don't eat anything, that day your body gets time to digest all the leftover food, and that reduces ama.
Okay. Just a couple of more questions. What do you think of moringa powder as supplement?
Okay, moringa powder is becoming very popular these days. It is rich in vitamins, it is rich in calcium and all. But Ayurvedically, as I was mentioning to somebody before, is it is good for digestion. So I was talking about ama and all. So moringa also is called shevga. It is ama pachana. So it digests all that ama and opens up channels in the body. So it is very good. But don't go overboard on that. Just
Okay.
eat in moderation.
Okay. Can you, and the last one, I guess, can you explain what is pimpli?
Okay, pipali or pimpli is a kind of a spice or the herb. It looks very rough surface. It is 1 or 2 inches long. These days you get that in Indian grocery store. It is very hot to taste, but excellent for your liver, excellent for your spleen, and excellent to improve your digestion. We also have something called Vardhamana Pipali. So you boil 1 cup water and add 1 pipali one day, the next day 2 pipalis, third day 3 pipalis, increase to 5 or 7 and bring it down to 1 again. And drinking that milk, which is kind of boiled with pipali, improves your digestion a lot. So next time when we have some slides, there is a picture of pipali there. But in Marathi, it is called pimpli, and in Sanskrit, in Ayurveda, we call that pipali. And in English, the botanical name is Piper longum.
Okay, great. There are several people, I guess, that have emailed about, not having received, the notes and things from the previous session. So please email Dr. Apte if you have not received them.
But I would strongly recommend to check your spam folder, your junk folder, or your trash folder, because sometimes those files, for some reason, I don't know why, but they land in the spam folder. So if you check it there, you may find all the files and all the attachments there. But if you didn't get it there also, then I'll resend, let me know.
Okay. And then several people want your contact information also for an appointment and consultation and things like that.
Yes, I will email all of you my contact information. and send you that Mata Balak organization email, website and all that. And I was earlier also talking about me giving a talk once a month. So I will detail about all that, send the email to everybody.
Great. I think that takes us through the questions for today. So
Okay, good.
yeah, well, great. Well, everybody, thank you for attending today. And if you're going to watch Super Bowl, I guess go Buccaneers or go Chiefs. So have a good evening.
And next time session is going to be kitchen pharmacy. And you will be amazed by all these spices having so many medicinal qualities and how you can use it for certain conditions and all that. So again, stay tuned on next Sunday. Namaste.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.